Hello everyone. How many of you are fans of tea? Today is your lucky day. Get your daily probiotic intake by trying our homemade kombucha tea. What if I told you that kombucha has many health benefits? Sound fascinating, right? Stay tuned and enjoy our video. Today we'll be talking about the history of kombucha, food safety tips, the process of making kombucha, and the important functions of yeast and bacteria in kombucha. If you make kombucha at home, there are some things to keep in mind such as sanitation being a critical point. The use of sterile containers and utensils during preparation is a key factor in preventing contamination of pathogens. It is preferable to use a glass container since it will not react with the acidity produced by the kombucha, and it does not contain BPA. If you decide to use porcelain and ceramic material, then they should be food grade. When fermenting the tea, you will want to cover the brewing container, and you can do this with a coffee filter or another oxygen exchanger, and secure it with a rubber band. And this will not interrupt the fermentation process.
There are different theories of where kombucha was first discovered and made. The origin of kombucha traces back to Emperor Qin Shi Huangdi thousands of years ago during the Qin dynasty in China. By the time of the Cultural Revolution in China in the 60s, kombucha was very popular and almost every house brewed this drink. The earliest known research is recorded by A.A. Bakinskaya in 1913. Multiple research studies were made in China and Taiwan in the 80s and found that its primary benefit was improving digestion. Kombucha was very popular in Russia and Europe until World War II, when sugar and tea were rationed, making them too hard to come by for the average family. Because these were the most important ingredients, it is understandable as to why the practice of making kombucha became less common. Fortunately enough, however, people preserved the tradition. After the war, kombucha enjoyed a brief resurgence among the Italian elite, where the recipe was treated like a chain letter with specific instructions as to which day to cultivate the tea. When priests noticed parishioners stealing holy water from the fountains to mix the kombucha with even more healing powers, they restricted the production of the drink entirely.
The first step for making a gallon of kombucha is to heat half a gallon of water until it starts to boil. Next, measure approximately 200 grams of sugar and add it to the half gallon of boiling water. Stir until the sugar is completely dissolved. Then, add 6 bags of either green or black tea. Let the tea steep for 5 minutes. Remove the bags of tea and add the half gallon of tea to the other half gallon of room temperature water to speed up the cooling process. The next step in brewing kombucha would be to add the most important part, namely the SCOBY. A SCOBY is a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. The yeast and bacteria in kombucha are involved in a pseudo-symbiotic relationship. Yeast from the Saccharomyces genus split sucrose into glucose and fructose using invertase, before turning the fructose into ethanol through glycolysis. Acetic acid bacteria then use glucose and ethanol to produce gluconic acid and acetic acid respectively. Due to the organic acid production during fermentation, the pH of kombucha drops. Yeast from the genus Saccharomyces are traditionally known as baker's or brewer's yeast and have been used throughout human history in anaerobic ethanol fermentations. Since oxygen is needed for the Acetobacter's aerobic respiration, kombucha should be stored in a covered container that allows for the exchange of oxygen. This is where a coffee filter or oxygen exchanger would be necessary in order to prevent the introduction of unwanted spores or other microbes while allowing oxygen in and carbon dioxide out. Now that the SCOBY has been added, the kombucha needs to be stored in a dark environment with plenty of airflow. The temperature should remain between 68 and 78 degrees Fahrenheit, however temperatures up to 85 degrees can be used, though it will produce a stronger brew.
That's all for today. Don't forget to try our homemade kombucha drink. Thank you for watching.